Why would you write this letter to everybody, the church that meets in your house?
Little pressure.
Maybe you want witnesses. Yeah. Pressure. Finally, it gets read out loud. Onesimus brings it back. It is true that if he ran away, and there's comment about if he defrauded you of anything, which does make it sound like something's gone wrong. He could be punished, even to death. So, hands Philemon the letter. Everybody gathers around. It's a letter from Paul. Makes it harder to say no to whatever it is that is being asked here. What do you feel when you hear the letter? What do you read there? Equality? Yeah, there's some shift. And a lot is being, a relationship is responsible for whatever changes. It's going to change because of this relationship that Paul has with Philemon. He seems to be able to call on that relationship and get a change in Philemon's behavior. Some people think it's pushy or manipulative. Maybe that's true. I don't know that it has to be manipulative. I think it actually can be an invitation into a new way of being. Some scholars think that Paul didn't say free Onesimus because he's in prison, and that would be subversive to the structure of things. But somehow, I don't know, I think he doesn't say it because he doesn't need to say it. It's the whole thing like Yuko and me. We manage to communicate just fine. We just don't communicate as clearly as you communicate to, the clerk at the grocery store when you're looking for barbecue sauce or something. Very concrete. Yeah.
So I read the book Desire of the Everlasting Hills. It's by the same guy who wrote How That Irish City Civilization.
Yes, Desire of the Everlasting Hills. Yeah.
I think it was him. It might have been somewhere else. But
I think
he talks about how this letter is, and other Paul's writings are somewhat unique in the ancient world. I don't know. I'd be interested if you think this is true. In that, while not being exactly anti-slavery, it's moving in that direction, sort of. And when Paul talks about neither slave nor free.
Right.
So that's sort of really the beginning of that whole movement in history, or at least a beginning. Is it unique in the... I'm curious about that.
Is it anti-slavery? And especially next to... You haven't gotten to Ephesians 5 yet, or will you? Are you going to read it in church?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard text. Or 6, sorry. In fact, I think that's accurate about Philemon. I think maybe Paul's moving in a direction where slavery is going to get more and more uncomfortable for him. And I actually don't think Paul wrote Ephesians. They let me teach at the seminary anyway. I mean, I don't think you'll find a person on the faculty at Luther who thinks Paul, our guy Paul, who wrote Galatians and Romans and Philippians and Corinthians, wrote Ephesians as well. And that's Bill's lecture next week. But one of the questions is, how could Paul, who wrote Philemon, say, masters, what is it here? Slaves, obey your human masters with fear and trembling in the sincerity of your heart as to Christ. Not like some who do their work when someone's watching as people pleasers, but as slaves of Christ doing the will of God. Obey with enthusiasm. And also have apparently asked for this very structure to be renegotiated when Onesimus comes to know Jesus and becomes a brother with Paul, and Philemon a brother in Christ. So it's not the best reason for saying Paul didn't write Ephesians, because I think Paul's capable of thinking two thoughts at the same time. But some people think Ephesians moves us back toward acceptance of structures like that. Past us to the... We need to quit, I guess. Thanks. Have fun with the letter. Yeah.